Having high FPS and low input delay is essential if you want to perform well in competitive games. So in this video, I'll be going over 33 tips and tricks which will improve your FPS and input delay. If this video helps you, then our premium tweaking utility will help you so much more. We have over 3,500 customer reviews on our website and Discord server combined. So make sure to check out exmtweaks.com to completely optimize your PC and unlock your full potential. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to be doing is downloading the files used in the video. So for that, all you have to do is just join our Discord server. Simply head over to 33 Tweaks, which is under EXM free resources. So it should look something like this. And once you're in there, simply press on download resources and that will take you to a Google Drive. So in the Google Drive, just press on this right here, the folder, and press on download. And while it's downloading, make sure to like and subscribe for more amazing free tweak videos. Anyways, so it should show up in the top right corner and you just want to press on it and then extract it like this. And afterwards, the first thing that we're going to be doing is making a restore point. And that will simply allow you to revert the tweaks if you ever want to get rid of them. So just get into the folder and make sure to run the batch file as administrator. This goes for any files used in the video which are able to be ran as admin. Please do that, or they won't have the proper permission to apply the optimization. Anyways, just run it, and in here just press 1 followed by enter on your keyboard and it will create a restore point. Press OK. If you ever want to use it to revert the tweaks, just go back to the menu. The next thing that we're going to be doing is optimizing Windows privacy settings. For that, all you have to do, go into Windows settings, and in here go into privacy and security. Once you're in privacy and security, you simply want to go into general and disable everything there. Afterwards, go into speech and disable online speech recognition if it's enabled. Also go into inking and typing personalization and disable that. Afterwards, go into diagnostics and feedback and make sure that diagnostic data is set to sending required data and the optional data is disabled. So generally, just go into all of these categories and disable everything as we're doing right now. Activity history, another thing you should disable. And search permissions, so here most of it should be disabled by default, but isn't, then do it. I would also recommend disabling safe search. And then in searching Windows, I would just select the classic indexing. Alright, so the third optimization that we're going to be doing is disabling game bar. For that, all you have to do is just go into gaming, which is 2 categories above privacy and security. Go into game bar and just make sure that this is set to off. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to be doing is going to require the folder. So open that back up again. So the fourth set of optimizations is going to be uninstalling useless apps. And for that, all you have to do is just run this as administrator. And this little menu will have 4 different options. And first, you're able to uninstall Windows pre-installed apps, this little script, so just press enter, and afterwards you can uninstall the useless apps using your settings. And in here I would just recommend going through this list of apps and just uninstalling stuff you don't use. I don't use 7-zip, for example, because I use WinRAR. And what else is here? I think that's about it, because I've done this pretty recently, but there should be a lot of pre-installed Windows apps, but I would just highly recommend going through this, and if you don't use it something, just uninstall it. And afterwards you have the option to uninstall Microsoft Edge, and of course if you Edge you can just skip this option, but I don't Edge right now, so I'll just uninstall Microsoft Edge. Boom. So the last option is uninstalling Cortana or Copilot, and boom, that's everything for the 4th category. So afterwards we're going to be disabling transparency. So for that, go into settings, from there going to personalization, and there going to colors, and make sure that transparency effects are off. This will slightly reduce your CPU and RAM usage since Windows won't have to make apps more transparent, which is easier on the PC. So afterwards, go into gaming, go into game bar, graphics, change default graphics settings, and in here we have hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. So for 90% of people, I would highly recommend disabling this setting. The best thing that you can do is just test it out. Play for 10 minutes with it disabled, then enable it and restart your PC and play for 10 minutes. See which one works the best for you. But generally 90% of people will have better results when it's disabled, but it's always better to test it out. If you don't want to test it out, you can just comment your specs down below and I'll tell you whichever one you should use. So afterwards, you want to go back into the resource folder, run Windows Update Blocker as administrator. So this little app will allow you to enable or disable Windows updates. The reason why I would want to disable them is because because Windows Update can just randomly start up in the background while you're doing some sort of intensive task, and that will completely kill your performance. So if you disable them, that won't happen. And if you ever want to just install an update again, just open this little app again and enable updates. But I would generally recommend only installing necessary Windows updates. Don't install every single one, as it resets tweaks and it also installs a bunch of bloatware into your PC. So yeah, that's everything for the 7th step. The next thing that we're going to be doing is setting your keyboard and mouse data queue size. For that, just open the folder again and run this file as administrator. And so this menu is similar to the one which is in my free utility. And basically, the lower the value is, the less latency you will have on your keyboard and mouse. But it may also cause stutters when it's too low and your PC doesn't have enough performance to handle it. So the best way you pick out whichever option you should use is by pressing T to open Task Manager, go into Performance, and find your CPU. And all you have to do is just comment your CPU down below, and I'll tell you whichever one of these options you should use. It may take a while for me to reply, so whenever I reply, just open up the folder again and select whichever option I tell you to choose. But I personally have a high-end CPU, so I'm going to be pressing that. Alright, so the 9th optimization or tip is making sure that your peripherals are set to 1000 Hz as their refresh rate. So for that, all you have to do is just open the software which you use to change your keyboard or mouse settings. You probably have two different ones, but I'll just use my mouse as an example. And in there is just make sure that your frequency is set to 1000 Hz or higher. I wouldn't actually recommend using anything higher than 2000, as that may cause a lot of strain on your CPU, but the slight latency decrease is not worth it unless you have an incredibly high-end PC. I would just recommend setting it to 1000 or 2000. I don't game much on my PC, so that's why I have it at 1000, as it conserves my mouse's battery. If your mouse supports 2000, I would recommend using that. Anyways, make sure that your keyboard is also set to 1000 if it supports it, of course. So the next optimization that we have is disabling startup apps using the autoruns application. And for that, all you have to do is just run autoruns as administrator. It's in the folder, of course, and make sure to go into the logon category. That is very important. And I would generally recommend disabling everything which you don't want from running in your PC when you start it up. I've unchecked everything personally, but if you want, I don't know, Discord from starting up automatically when you turn it on, then feel free to keep it checked. But yeah, you can just exit out of this app once you're done. So the next optimization is setting game mode, and for that all you have to do is just go into settings, go into game mode, and if you're on Windows 11 then enable it, and if you're on Windows 10 then disable it. Alright, so the next optimization is going to be disabling hardware acceleration on background applications. So I'm going to use Discord and Google as an example. So in Google, all I have to do is just go to settings, from there going to system, and make sure that use graphics acceleration when available is switched off. Afterwards, just restart your browser. It should be pretty similar for other browsers such as Brave or maybe even Edge. But yeah, so for Discord, all I have to do is just going to settings, going to game overlay. Afterwards, going to advanced, and make sure that hardware acceleration is disabled. You can just restart your Discord. So afterwards, we have disabling notifications. So for that, go into settings and go into notifications. Can't type, notifications and actions, and make sure to just select notifications on off. I cannot touch this setting because I've done it through my utility, but all I have to do is just disable notifications, and none of this other stuff really matters. The 14th optimization is going to be disabling useless animations. So for that, just search up performance, select adjust the appearance and performance of Windows, and in this little tab just copy my settings. So make sure that everything except show thumbnails instead of icons, show window contents while dragging, and smooth edges on screen fonts. And the next optimization that we have is setting your process scheduling programs. So all you have to do is just head over to advanced and make sure that this is selected on programs and not background services. Afterwards, we have optimizing your taskbar. Just right click on your taskbar and go into taskbar settings, and here I would recommend disabling all of the widgets. There's probably more widgets there for you, but I've uninstalled some of them. And search, that's optional, you can set it to whatever you want. There may also be like an option to disable the weather thing, which sometimes shows up right here. here or news. So if you have the option to do that, please disable that as well. I cannot do it because I have it hard uninstalled. The 17th optimization is going to be disabling core isolation. So for that, go into security settings, go into device security, and go into core isolation details. And in here, disable memory integrity. It may make your PC slightly more vulnerable, but having core isolation enabled decreases your performance by a pretty large margin. Of course, disabling it will fix that. And if you don't go on too many shady websites, or you don't require that much security on your PC because you don't do anything shady which would make people want to hack you or anything of that sort, then I would recommend disabling it. Afterwards, we're going to move on to more GPU oriented optimizations. So I personally don't have AMD GPU. I'll be getting one soon. If this video gets, I'll just say 3,000 likes, I'll buy a really good AMD GPU and make an optimization guide for AMD users in the near future. But anyways, for now, I just linked a good AMD GPU guide in the description, which you guys can use. Please watch the rest of the video first before you do that guide. But yeah, for the Nvidia boys, all you have to do is go back in the folder, and first we have clean installing your Nvidia driver, and here all you have to do is just run Nvidia clean install as administrator. Also, a little warning, installing a new driver may cause FPS drops for a few minutes of gameplay, maybe like 40 minutes. All you have to do is just play and your shader cache will build back up, which would fix the stutters. Also, there's a newer version of Nvidia clean install which you can download. I just cannot put it in my Google Drive for some reason. It just keeps getting deleted. So yeah, you can just press on the link and open ND clean install like this, but both versions should work fine. I would love to put it in this video, but it just keeps getting deleted off Google Drive. So the driver that I recommend using is 566.14, and make sure you select the desktop or laptop version depending on what you are. Don't select the studio version. Afterwards, you can just press next. So in here, if you use any of these features, then make sure to select them. I personally use shadow play when I play games or anything, so I'll select that. And if it shows this pop-up, then make sure to press yes as well, and it will start downloading the driver. Right, so afterwards we have installation tweaks. So in here, all you have to do is just copy my settings. So first, select disable and installer telemetry and advertising. After, select perform a clean installation. Then select disable MPO. Then you have to select show expert tweaks to show other tweaks. So in expert tweaks, make sure that disable driver telemetry is disabled. Enable message signal interrupts as well. And I would leave the interrupt policy and priority at default. Afterwards, just select disable HDCP. And here, make sure that you select both of these things, which that will just stop the driver unassigned warning from coming up. This is how the final settings should look. So just press next, then press install, and it will open the Nvidia graphics driver installer application. Agree and continue. Press custom, next. I won't be pressing next because I already have this exact driver installed, but all I have to do is just press next. It will install the driver. It may also cause like slight flickers on your screen, and it will also reset your Nvidia settings, which is the next step of the optimization, so don't worry about that. But yeah, after installing the driver, make sure to restart your PC, and then we can get up with the second step. So after the installation process is complete, make sure to restart your PC. That is very important. And afterwards, we can get on with the 20th step, which is going to be optimizing Nvidia 3D settings using this little app, which you just run as administrator. And then you just drag the free profile over it. If you want an even more advanced profile, then make sure to check out exmtweaks.com. This one is really good as well. It should optimize all the settings you need in Nvidia control panel and some more advanced ones as well. So afterwards, we have power plan, and a little warning before we do that. If you have overheating issues on your PC, skip this step. The next step, I'll actually tell you how to stop those overheating issues. But for now, if you don't have overheating issues, then get into the folder, run this as administrator. It will download the power plan, show up a pop-up, which may open in the background like this in PowerShell, so just press OK on it, and then it will import the power plan. And here, it will also open up power options in case you want to delete any unnecessary power plans. I have two of the EXM ones, so I'll just delete one of them. But the free one is amazing, but I'll still keep using my premium power plan as it's a lot better. Don't get me wrong, the free one is still good. Anyways, after that, you can just close out, then press continue. And here you have the option to delete the default power plants, which are balance, power saver, and high performance. I already have them deleted, so I'll just exit. And the 22nd thing, I'm going to be telling you how to prevent overheating. So there's a few things you can do which are mainly physical to prevent overheating. So the first one is cleaning dust from your PC. You can do this with both desktops and laptops. I would highly recommend getting a bottle of compressed air and just cleaning out every part of your PC, since dust buildup can block airflow to your PC, which of course will increase temperatures. If you're on a laptop specifically, you can get a cooling pad, which costs like 40 bucks max, and it has a little fan on the bottom, and it will decrease your temps by about 10 degrees usually. Another thing which you can do for free for your laptop is lift it up slightly from the ground. You can use any random item, but make sure that the space below the laptop, there's actually air there. I'll make my editor put a picture of something like that here. Another thing which you can do is change your thermal paste. It's different on laptops and desktop PCs. It's a lot harder to do on laptop, but you can still do it. But there's many tutorials online on how to change the thermal paste for your CPU cooler or even your GPU cooler. If you're brave enough to do that, I wouldn't recommend doing it unless you're really experienced. But you can undervolt your CPU in BIOS and many other things, like even underclocking your GPU, for example, or even your CPU. If you have overheating issues, there's so many different things you can do, so just search up guides for stuff which I just mentioned. 23rd optimization is something which I still see that many people haven't done, and that is enable XMP or DOCP in BIOS. That will basically unlock your RAM's full potential. This is a setting which is different to change on every single PC, and what I would do in order to find a guide on how to enable this is just get your motherboard name, search up how to enable XMP on that specific motherboard. If you don't know what type of motherboard you have, just go into MS Info 32, and in here, as you can see, my baseboard manufacturer is MSI, and I have a Z798, so just put that into Google. Anyways, this is not possible on laptops, by the way, just desktop PCs which have an open BIOS. Anyways, the next optimization is going to be pretty simple, and that is disabling network throttling. So what you have to do is just go into the 24th option in the folder and run disable network throttling as administrator, and boom. Afterwards, we have another one which is just going to be disabling Nagiles algorithm or enabling TCP no delay, which is a really simple one. Again, you just run the file as administrator. By the way, if you want to know what some of these registry tweaks do, you can check out my last video, which was about 15 registry optimizations, and these two are explained in depth on what they do, as well as mouse and keyboard data queue size. But yeah, I just don't want to make this video too long. Anyways, after that, we're going to be cleaning some useless temporary device data, and for that, just go into device manager, and here go into file options. Here you will have the option to delete files. I just cleared mine recently, so that's why I don't have any there, but yeah. Go into options, and then you will able to delete temporary device data here. I personally don't have any files here because I just did it recently because I messed up a segment of the video, but yeah. Anyways, you can just press OK after you deleted them. So after that, we have disabling NetBIOS over TCP IP. So for that, all you have to do is just go into control panel. Afterwards, go to network and internet, network and sharing center, and then go into Ethernet. You can do this on Wi-Fi as well, but my only connection is Ethernet, so yeah. Then it'll go into properties. In here, go into Internet Protocol version 4, then advanced, and go into WINS. And in here, make sure that disable NetBIOS over TCP IP is checked. That's all you have to do here. By the way, I'll be making an updated network guide, so make sure to stay tuned for that. You know, hit the subscribe button with the bell. Anyways, the next optimization is going to be cleaning temp files, which is a really simple one. So for that, all you have to do is search up clean, and this is disk cleanup. But you can just select everything except DirectX shader cache. If you have any issues with your GPU, you can clear this too, but it's not needed because it will make you stutter for a little bit after you clean it, since your shader cache will have to build up. The 29th optimization is going to be defragmenting or trimming your drives. So for that, just search up defragment, and this little thing should pop up. And I haven't trimmed my SSD in like 20 days, so I'll quickly optimize it. Boom. You can also defragment your hard drives, but that will take a really long time. Afterwards, you can just close it. So the next step is going to be optimizing Discord. Some of you guys asked me to make a more in-depth Discord guide, and for that, just go into user settings, and in here, go into advanced first. I already disable hardware acceleration, but if you don't use Discord for any purposes outside of just communicating with your friends, then disable developer mode. And I would also keep application test mode disabled. Afterwards, I would disable streamer mode and also disable automatically enabled / disable streamer mode unless you actually use it if you stream. Then make sure that open Discord isn't checked, but we've already done that through auto runs. Then I would also turn off activity, privacy, everything here. Afterwards, make sure that game overlay is disabled because this actually causes a pretty big performance dip for most people. Afterwards, you can disable almost everything in here unless you really want to use it. And yeah, that's about it. You can also disable certain stuff like animations, but if you have Discord minimized in the background, then that won't be a big deal. But of course, if you play with Discord open on like your second monitor, then I would also disable animations in the accessibility category. So the last 3 steps are going to be related to Fortnite. Since over 90% of my audience plays Fortnite, I decided to dedicate the last 3 steps to that. So first, we're going to optimize Fortnite options. So just press on the 3 dots, go into options, and make sure that high resolution textures are unchecked and pre-download streamed assets are checked. And then you can just press apply. It will probably install something. And after that's installed, you can launch Fortnite. And in here, go into the game settings and just scroll over and make sure that replays are all disabled and that energy savings are disabled. The sleep timer shit, you can play around with it, doesn't really matter. And yeah, same with these extra game options. I would disable Nvidia highlights and peripheral I cannot talk, but this, whatever this setting is. And yeah, that's all you have to do in the settings. And the last optimization that we're going to be doing is applying the game user settings. And just press Windows and R and type in local app data %. Open this little folder, just press on anything and then press F. It will probably take you to Fortnite game. Then go into saved config, Windows client, and in here, just swap out the game user settings for mine. And yeah, that's all you have to do. Also, if you want to adjust like the frame rate, you can open it and change it. I set it to 240 since that's what I play on, but of course, if you use a different one, you can do that as well. You can do it through the game too because I didn't set them to read only. But yeah, everything else in here is optimized. And yeah, you can play around with the resolution as well if you like stretch res. That's everything for all the optimizations. Make sure to restart your PC because that will make sure that they're all applied. Thank you guys for watching.